That's true. I think, like you say, the higher the stakes are, the more aware you have to be of the steps and the moves
Yeah.
that you make. And I think if you look at it in the Black community, I think that's the difference in the way some Black people move and other Black people move. You know, I think when you being Black, when you make it, you get your house in the suburbs and all of that. I think it's more difficult for people still trying to get it. I think it's more difficult for them to understand, like, I can't move like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's more difficult for me. If I'm gonna move in that way, I can't just do it willy-nilly. I gotta move more with more tact,
Yeah,
more
absolutely.
professionalism and stuff like that. So yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, yeah. You got one more question?
I got one more question, then I'm gonna roll. Let me see. What's a good one? Let me see. Okay. It's a two-part question. Who's your hero? Who's your villain?
My
Who
hero.
or what is your heroes? Who or what is your villain?
Who is my hero? Who is my villain? I will have to give my hero to my father. Got to get it because he was present, you know, and because he's not only present for me but present for my mom, which is very important for a lot of men because a lot of men struggle with how to be great in their own relationship, especially when they try to settle down and be married. They struggle with how to do that because their attachment with their mom is in the way.
Mm-hmm.
If your dad is there to take that on and relieve you of that pressure, you don't have that to worry about. So you can be free to go do you and do what you got to do for your family. So that's how I believe it's supposed to be. If I'm doing what I got to do, then you can go do what you got to do. So that's powerful, man. You know, him being present, him always, you know, he was hard as nails. You know what I mean? Hard as nails. But I was able to garner the things that I needed from it. You know, there's a lot that I didn't care for and I would have liked for him to not do. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, when I set aside those things and just look at the things that impacted me the most, I would have to give him the kudos for being my hero. Um, villain wise, I would have to say myself. Um, you know, I can't look at anybody else. When I've done an inventory of my life to think about people that I was like, man, I couldn't stand this person. I wouldn't mind if this person fell off a cliff or
Mm-hmm.
pushed this person out in traffic. Every time I thought about what would happen if I removed that person from my life, I realized that I needed that person to be a part of the story for me to be who I am.
Right.
So I can't cut them out. So the biggest villain would always have to be me because when it comes down to getting things done, I'm the person that's in the way. You know, if anybody's in the way, it's me. You
Right.
know, all it takes is for me to say, I'm having trouble hearing you. No, what this Siri keeps shut up.
Siri, a villain. She like, hey, look, cuz
It's villain.
you talking to this other guy, you gonna talk to me.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like when it comes to getting things done and doing the things that I have to do, I'm the person always that's going to either get it done or not. So,
Mm.
you know, I would have to, and I always say that we're our biggest ally or our biggest adversary. It's always us.
I think that makes me think about. That's a good point because I have been thinking about who's my hero and who's my villain too, and I had thought about that. I'm like, am I my own villain? And
Yeah.
what it made me think about was the Dark Knight.
Oh wow.
I love the Dark Knight because, well, I love Batman. You know, I'm into Batman and the Joker, but the Joker said something to Batman in that movie that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something like, "You need me,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? You need me," or something like. And I thought it was so telling and so brilliant. However how they wrote it in a way to show you that without the Joker, Batman is completely irrelevant. He's just a weird guy running around in a dark suit in the middle of the night beating up on drug dealers, right?
Yeah.
and he needed to be able to. He needed what they call, I guess, in psychology. You probably know about this. He needed that shadow.
Yeah.
So in order to be his greatest version of himself, he needed a good villain.
Yeah.
Like to me, that movie is a look into the mind of one person who has the hero on one side and the villain on the other,
Yeah.
and they battle.
Yeah.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
that's I see that all the time, man. I believe that's always that. It's always me versus me or you versus you. Always. You know what I mean? Even if you have someone else who is trying to get in front of you and then trying to block you, it's still you versus you.
Right,
You got to decide how you're going to approach and handle that person. That
right,
person can't take that. Only you.
right,
So
right,
it's always me. And that helps me to not blame other people. Like if something's going on with me and my wife, and I'm like, man, I always look at me to say, well, okay, well, yeah, I did just do X, Y, and Z. Okay, I did that. Okay, boom. I can't even be mad. you
right,
know, it
right,
helps me in check. It helps me to focus on me when I know that I'm my worst enemy. You know what I mean? When it comes to making decisions, I have to take full responsibility no matter what other people do.
right, right. And so, to add to that too is the version of that person that exists in your mind is not necessarily who that person is in their mind. So if your villain is outside of you, right? Say I hate this guy over here,
Uh,
right? But I haven't lived his life. I don't. It's he has a story that I don't know. 99% about. The version of him that exists in my mind is the villain,
right.
right? So I have to figure out how to contend with the version of him that's in here, which will make it easier and more realistic to deal with the one that manifests itself
Yeah.
in the physical realm.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's important to sit down and have conversations and talk to people and learn not to disagree or to be like I'm right, you're wrong, or you're right and I'm wrong and all of that good stuff, but to learn from people you disagree with.
Last point, real quick before you go, because
Yeah.
I want to give people a real tangible example of how to apply this. So my old job before I left, I was working in the government, and at this time I was working in the 28-day residential program, and there was a woman there who was a colleague, was working. I was managing one of the floors in the building. She was everybody's thorn. People
Okay. Yeah.
people could not stand talking to her. They couldn't stand working with her. It seemed like she would come to work and her mission was to just piss everybody off. She just seemed miserable. But she the type that on the outside she looked like everything all good until she just says something that's like, damn, you got a problem, right? Like, what's wrong with you, right?
Right.
So my mission was, and I try to teach people, man, especially if you got to be in a situation, you got to be in, this is your job, so you got to go there.
Right.
Figure out the players and how to manage them.
Right.
I call it managing your manager. So managing your manager applies to anybody that you have to be in relationship with. You have to be. You don't have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You got to learn how to manage them. So I said, okay, I got to figure her out. So knocked on the door, and I had to get myself ready because she's one of the people that she's going to try to irk you. But my mission was to understand her.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let me go have a talk with her. So I sat down with her and I asked a question. Say, tell me about, what it is that pisses you off. Tell me about what it is that you would like to see from people. Tell me about how you like your operations to go. What is,
Right.
what is it that you want so that things will go smooth? I wanted to figure out for her what would make things great.
Right.
What that did was it opened her up so that I could understand how she thinks.
Right.
What I figured out was she's system oriented. She's black and white. If it's not written, she don't get it. For me, I could be in the gray all day.
Right.
Some people need black, white, that's it.
Right.
So because she operated a certain way, if people didn't approach her in the way that she operated, she shut them down.
Right.
So I understood how to approach her based on how she thinks.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it boils down to, like you were just saying, we have the ability to figure out how to navigate people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We got to take the time to do it. Sometimes people don't want to take that time, but if you got to be in close proximity with somebody and you don't have a choice, rather than being upset, pissed off, frustrated, figure out how to manage them.
Mm. And I think to add to that too, I think we like to make statements. It's important to ask the question
Yeah.
instead of saying she gets on my nerves. Why does she get on my nerves? Or why is she the way that she is?
Right.
And
Understand.
once you, because a question, when you ask a question, what it does is a question is like an empty cup. A statement is like a full cup. You can't add anything else to the full cup.
Yeah.
The question is in itself is empty. So when
Yeah.
you pose a question, it creates a vacuum for information to fill the
Yeah.
space. And then
Yeah.
how you, like you said, you'd be like, oh, she a black and white type of person. Oh, all right, cool, this easy. You know,
Yeah. It's easy.
this
Yeah.
simple right here. Yeah.
But this is the key to what we're saying is when you have someone who's seemingly a villain or someone who's in the way or someone who's frustrating you or pissing you off, rather than place a judgment because you really don't know their story.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know what they're all about. All you're doing is seeing how they present, and so you going off of that and you shutting down.
Right.
Instead of going away from the pain, run to the pain.
Run to the pain.
Run to the pain. Go have a discussion with that person and ask questions and genuinely want to know. Because I wasn't trying to antagonize her.
Right.
I'm genuinely trying to understand her. So I'm like, hey, tell me about you. Tell me about. Next thing you know, I understand all about how she thinks, and now I can deal with her.
Right. And you probably can see the brilliance of her way of seeing things too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it makes it easier to deal with people, to
yeah.
get to know them, to become friends with them. You be like, oh, that's just how she is, and this is how you have to deal with her.
Exactly. And now I was able to help other people to deal with her. Like, nah, it's not like that. Do this.
Right.
Pop.
Right.
Good stuff.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you, man. I figured out a way I'm gonna save both videos. I guess we'll have a part one and a part two. I appreciate you sitting down with me. I know you on your day off, your vacay. Look like you chilling. Tell the wife I said hello. I'm glad that she's better from COVID
Yeah.
and all of that good stuff. I love you, brother. You my
Hey,
man. 50 grand.
love you back, bro. I
And
appreciate.
hit me up and let me know when the next time I'm coming through to holler at you.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate this opportunity, man. I ain't gonna hold you. I just thank you. You're a blessing to me and everything that I do. And just keep doing what you do, man. I love how you taking care of the family. Your babies, man, are beautiful. Taking care of the wife. So just
Thank
keep
you.
pushing, man. Enjoy the. I wish you could see and record that daggone tennis joint, man. Dang.
I'll take her to the tennis court one day, and then I'll record and let you see what I'll post it so everybody can see what she got going. Libby crazy.
You know what you're gonna have to do?
What's that?
Got to interview Libby.
Libby wants to interview me, but
Ah,
I am gonna interview Libby. But I got to make sure all the parameters are right. Instead of Libby say something crazy, I was like, no.
Libby is awesome, man. She is awesome, man. So definitely, man. But go ahead and enjoy the rest of your weekend, man. Appreciate you.
All right, be safe, bro.
Peace.
Later.